Hey there, big news on the economic front. So, a while back, folks were all worried about a recession, thinking it was just around the corner. But guess what? Things have taken a positive turn. Inflation is calming down, and hiring is going strong. Now, instead of a recession, experts are talking about a soft landing. Back in February, economists were predicting doom and gloom with the fear of a recession. The Federal Reserve had been hiking interest rates like crazy since early 2022, and businesses and consumers seemed hesitant to spend due to inflation worries. But surprise, surprise, the economy didn't take a nosedive. It's actually doing pretty well, marching forward, and inflation is dropping faster than expected. Some products are even getting cheaper. The Federal Reserve is cautiously optimistic, with Chair Jerome Powell expressing satisfaction with the progress in battling inflation and achieving full employment. Powell mentioned that he always thought there was a chance for the economy to cool off without the usual job losses associated with high inflation. This year has been kind of unique, with inflation calming down while the economy keeps growing, a combo many didn't think was possible according to Brian Rose, a senior economist at UBS Global Wealth Management. So, the current outlook? Experts like Rose believe we're on track for a soft landing. Exciting times, right? Let's dive deeper into the concept of a soft landing and how it differs from a recession. Picture a soft landing as the Goldilocks scenario that central bankers dream of. It's akin to Goldilocks finding the perfect porridge, not too hot, inflationary, and not too cold, in a recession. This term is popularly used to describe an economic situation where things slow down just enough to avoid the pitfalls of overheating or crashing. According to insights from Sam Booker and David Wessel at the Brookings Institution, here's the catch. There isn't an official, set-in-stone definition for a soft landing. Even the National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER, the authority on declaring when the US is officially in a recession, doesn't have specific criteria for what constitutes a soft landing. It's a bit like trying to define the perfect temperature. Everyone knows it when they feel it, but it's not easy to pin down. On the flip side, a recession is typically identified as 2 consecutive quarters of economic growth shrinking. But the NBER has a broader perspective, describing it as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy lasting more than a few months. In simpler terms, recessions involve a dip in the country's overall economic output, GDP, and a rise in job cuts. For most people, a recession translates to feeling the squeeze due to job losses. During the Great Recession, a tough period from October 2008 to April 2009, approximately 700,000 individuals were losing their jobs each month, according to Brookings. So, in a nutshell, while a soft landing feels like a smooth descent, a recession is more like enduring a bumpy economic roller coaster ride. The distinction lies in the level of economic turbulence and the impact it has on jobs and livelihoods. In a soft landing, changes in the job market are more subdued compared to the drastic shifts seen in events like the Great Recession. While the unemployment rate might go up a bit, it's nowhere near the drastic spikes we witnessed when the jobless rate soared from 5% to 10% during the Great Recession. As things stand, the Federal Reserve is predicting a modest increase in the jobless rate to around 4.1% for both 2024 and 2025. This is slightly higher than the current rate of 3.7%. It's worth noting that this forecast is a step back from the Fed's 2022 projection, which anticipated a jump to 4.4% and an additional 1.2 million people losing their jobs. Surprisingly, despite the economic adjustments, companies seem hesitant to let go of workers. The labor market is tight, making it challenging for businesses to both retain and hire employees. This reluctance to cut jobs contributes to a more stable job market during a soft landing scenario. Let's chat about inflation, the rise and fall of prices. The good news in a soft landing is that inflation is expected to chill out from 3.1% to a friendlier level. That's good for us because it means our money can go a bit further. Plus, bosses are planning to give us a 4% boost in wages next year. Awesome, right? The bigwigs at the Fed, the folks overseeing money stuff, think inflation, measured by the PCE index, will drop to 2.4% next year. They didn't make money moves on Wednesday, holding off on raising rates. In fact, they even hinted at 3 rate cuts in 2024. Analysts at TD Securities pointed out that inflation surprised the Fed by going down, giving them a chance to ease up on their strict money policies sooner than expected. Now, does all this mean we're in the clear for a recession? Well, not entirely. Powell, the head honcho at the Fed, said he's happy with how things are going. But he's not shouting victory just yet. He reminded us that there's always a chance of a recession in the next year, and it's a pretty decent chance no matter how the economy is doing. Some smart folks, like the economists at PNC, are still thinking we might see a recession, though not right away. They predict a dip in people spending money in the second half of 2024 as the economy cools off a bit. Why? They say it's because of high interest rates and some folks losing jobs, making households a bit more careful with their cash. So, while things look good, it's always good to keep an eye out for surprises in the money world. It's totally understandable if you feel a bit left behind, and you're not alone in that feeling. A bunch of folks in the US are saying their income isn't keeping pace with the rising prices of things. It's like a race where your money is lagging behind, and that can be frustrating, right? Even though the jobless rate is low and the economy is doing its growth thing, Powell, the big shot at the Fed, acknowledged this problem. He mentioned that people are super aware of prices going up, and that doesn't sit well with anyone. But here's a glimmer of good news. Wages are starting to catch up. People are still dealing with these high prices, which isn't fun, Powell said. But the good news is that real wages, the money you take home, are now going up more than the cost of things as inflation is coming down. So that might put a smile on people's faces and make things feel a bit better. Hang in there. It seems like the situation is slowly turning around, and your wallet might start feeling a bit happier soon. In our exploration of the economic landscape, we've ventured through the fascinating realms of soft landings, recessions, inflation, and the intricate dance between wages and living costs. Picture a soft landing as the Goldilocks moment for economists, steering clear of the extremes, neither too hot with inflation nor too cold with a recession. While there's no precise definition, it's like finding the perfect economic equilibrium. On the other hand, a recession is a bumpy economic ride, involving shrinking growth, job cuts, and the tangible impact on people's lives, as seen during the Great Recession. The current economic scenario brings a mix of optimism and caution, with inflation cooling, wages catching up, and a potential for a soft landing. As we navigate these economic nuances, your understanding grows, empowering you to decode the financial headlines shaping our world. If you found this journey insightful, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more engaging content. Your active participation fuels our exploration of diverse topics, making the complex world a bit more understandable. Until our next expedition, stay curious and informed.